Hey, Guy.
What's up?
It's Tuesday. You know what we're doing today, right?
Two for Tuesday. Gotta be, man. You know when rock and roll, two for Tuesday, WNEW, FM, Carol Miller, the whole thing. No?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. That's not what we do on Tuesdays. Tuesdays, we do heroes and zeros, where we run through the top earnings of the week, and we actually give our class of, hey, hero or zero on it. But let's do two for Tuesday really quick. All right. So it's PLJ. It's 1981. Two
Right.
for Tuesday. What are you pulling for when you hear them announce that?
1981, 95.5 WPLJ. If I'm asking for a Zeppelin twofer, I'm going the first song on the first album, Good Times, Bad Times, which is just ridiculous. And then I'll ask him to play a little Moby Dick on the back end. That sort of dovetails our Herman Melville conversation.
Nice. All right. I was actually going to do twofer on Def Leppard, but you know, the Leopard hadn't really come of age. We had High and Dry was out already at that point. So Bringing on the Heartache would have been one of them, but I couldn't have given you anything off of Pyromania or Hysteria. So why don't I do Boston, which I think we can both appreciate. And this is tough, man. I mean, my twofer on Boston is going to have to be more than a feeling coming out of the gates. But you know what? Rock and roll band. No, long time. All right, More Than a Feeling, long time. And real quick, how long did it take you to realize that Boston's logo was an upside down guitar and not a spaceship?
I just realized it now, then. I appreciate it. I mean, that's a great job by you. By the way, it's four-played long time. And I would have gone, me personally, I would have gone Something About You off the first album.
Wow, those are deep cuts.
But I mean, that's okay.
Those are deep cuts. Those are my Boston was my two first arena shows, by the way, ever in my life in '78. All right. Here we go. Heroes and zeros. I'm going to start us out. Let's lead it off here. Beyond Meat, Guy. Beyond Meat. How do they fare?
Hero. Absolutely hero. And you know why? One of the reasons they're a hero is their revenue growth over the year over year is significant. Their margins, their gross margins, they crushed. And all of a sudden, very quietly, they have international growth, which is going to be a huge driver for them. And I've said it before. The reasons for me to eat the meat or the Beyond Meat burger are not what most people think. It's more laxative for me than anything else without getting into great detail. But it doesn't mean I don't like the stock. And I think the stock can trade back to the February high of 125 or so.
Man, look, I get that alt plants and plant food are a thing with guys like you. But I got to tell you, zero. And here's why. The multiple on the stock is about 380 times earnings. They actually showed some better numbers. In fact, those Q1 numbers I thought were pretty impressive when you consider. Certainly the year-over-year comps are also stratospheric, which is giving the Momo crowd the ability to get excited here. And I realize also that, look, COVID-19 puts these guys in a pretty interesting light, considering what's going on with meat shortages right now that people are hearing about. But ultimately, food service is a big part of how they've established their business. Getting into the retail path, I realize with food prices and meat prices going higher, makes them maybe more appealing, but they're not appealing to me. The competition in this space, I think we haven't even begun to price in. And while they were out there early, I'm going to have to call them zeros. Next, fire away.
Next one, well, we got to go with the Walt Disney Company. Comes out DIS. I would say, I hate to say it, but it's a zero. And it's a zero for a number of different reasons. And this is not their fault. Listen, obviously, 99% of what's going on is not their fault. But the Fox acquisition came, and as it turns out, couldn't have been a worse time. You know, now a company, and you mentioned this on the show, I mean, a balance sheet that was Teflon, that was pristine. A fortress 6 months ago is now, maybe that moat's being drained, and maybe that drawbridge into the castle is being lowered, so some of the competition can enter. Well, I'm just saying. So I don't think Disney's going to retest that 79 level we saw in the middle of March, but I do think it could trade down to $90, and I think that's where you buy it. I mean, earnings are down 63% year over year. That's a step. This is Walt Disney.
It's shocking. It's shocking.
Shocking.
It's shocking. And I know you were traumatized at Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, so I get why you're doing this. And these numbers were awful, but we knew they were going to be awful. Hero, let me make that clear. Hero, Disney, hero. And not only are they Disney, are they heroes because the studio is clicking on all cylinders, certainly going into COVID. I know it's an asterisk, but ultimately that's what's supporting DTC. That's what's supporting theme parks. It's going to refuel all the revamped products that I think are part of this. It certainly should support new content. We know Disney Plus is already around 50 million subscribers, maybe more. And we also know that they told us media was up 28%. Cable was up 17%. So the numbers weren't all bad here. And the reason they're getting Hero out of me, because this wasn't a great quarter, but Hero because, in fact, they're being prudent by cutting that div. That's shocking for people. And a lot of people are like, wow, the Mouse House may be like the Mouse Trap now. But I think what Disney did today was prudent on the fiscal side. It's a conservative company. And I think they're giving themselves a little bit more power in addition to the $6 billion that they just raised. By the way, Pirates of the Caribbean was my personal favorite. I realized it was kind of like that slow boat ride as you went into the cave and whatnot, but good times there.
No, the Pirates of the Caribbean is fantastic. When you get into the one scene when you're in between the two sort of battleships with the cannons shooting and the water sprays up next to you.
It's a little scary, right?
I mean, it's a little scary. But as you know, after Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Hall of Presidents is my favorite ride. I'm a big Hall of Presidents fan. It's going to be fascinating to see what they do with it in the New World Order. But I digress.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave that one alone. And our final company on Heroes and Zeros today, Activision. And I'll jump in here. Hero. Look, Bobby Kotick has I think continued to prove naysayers wrong. And Call of Duty is something that I think is certainly part of the fortress here that keeps this company alive and well. To me, they are benefiting, obviously, in a COVID-19 environment. They have a pipeline probably more out 12 to 15 months. But there was a time when these stocks were well ahead of themselves in terms of investing thematically. I don't know why you wouldn't want to be in the gamers and the interactive sports and the media folk that are exposed to this part of the demographic. And effectively, this is the new media.
So we disagreed on the first two. We're going to agree on this. I'm going to give a hero to Bobby Kotick, not Bobby Holik, who was a great devil, but a miserable ranger. I mean, but I totally digress on that one. Holik should have been a stud with the blue shirts, and he wasn't a hero.
I mean, Holik was no different than Pavel Bure or
even
the great ones.
Marcel Dion. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But what I'll say is this. Kudos to Wells Fargo in early April, I think, initiated this stock with a buy rating, $75 price target. I actually think it goes higher than that. So Activision is separating itself from its peers. Good for them. ATVI hero.
Hero to me, too. Happy Cinco de Mayo, guys. And for folks at home, every Tuesday, Heroes and Zeros. Join Tim and Guy.
Later.